Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining us for this segment, we have Andreas Katsouris, Senior Vice President of Global Services with PredictIt, the stock market of politics. Andreas, it's great to see you again. Welcome back to Trade Talks.
Thank you. It's great to be back, Jill.
All right, let's start with the first market here. Of course, the reconciliation bill.
Yeah, so all eyes are on the House and Senate. Of course, this coming week, both are back from recess this week, and the president's agenda is definitely, and the Democratic Party's agenda is definitely front and center politically and front and center on PredictIt in terms of trading activity. I mean, the majority leader, Senator Schumer, promised that the bills would be passed at one point by the end of October. Our main market activity is on, when the Democratic Party is going to pull itself together, as it hopes to do, to get both the bipartisan, infrastructure bill, and then the larger 3.5 trillion proposed social spending reconciliation bill passed in both houses. And the sentiment on PredictIt is I guess pretty pessimistic, at least, that this is going to happen anytime soon. Our market on the reconciliation passing the Senate this month is effectively zero, and on passing the House, even by Thanksgiving, is under 50%. So really not very positive about, at least about the timing of these negotiations. Now, Democrats would probably say, we've got to pass the bill eventually. Don't worry about the timing. But obviously, the calendar's seems to be working against them.
Yeah, I mean, to say don't worry about it, eventually get passed seems a little bit counterintuitive. I mean, if you think you have, a shot moving beyond the Democrats and you can't even figure it out internally, I mean, that should be the easier part, right?
Well, these are big political parties with different factions, different points of view, both Republican Democratic parties. So some of this is normal legislative negotiations, but it's certainly playing out quite publicly. And not in a way that seems to be getting to, at least as traders, I think, to an agreement soon.
Yeah, and that's a good point that you make, Andreas. I mean, there's always going to be factions in there, but you would think where things are so publicly fractured right now that unification would probably be a better path or a better strategy. So we know timing looks challenging. In terms of what the dollar amount might be, what are PredictIt traders putting their bets on?
PredictIt traders have been sort of pricing down the cost of that 3.5 trillion social spending reconciliation package quite dramatically, as Senator Manchin, Senator Sinema, and others have been signaling some reluctance on some of those figures. So we're looking at maybe the average position on the site is about half that amount, maybe high upper 1 to 2 trillion dollar figure. So a really substantial pare back. The probability on the side of 3.5 is again also almost nothing.
And Andreas, if we move towards corporate tax, is certainly something that the Trade Talks audience and all the global markets are focused on right now. What are PredictIt traders putting their money on there?
Well, we've seen a shift in those markets as well. We've been asking what the expected corporate tax rate would be for next year for some time, and the kind of consensus was we'd see an increase into the 26 or sort of percentage range most likely, and that has been falling. So the market's pretty divided actually as to whether corporate taxes will really go up at all. Or will go up, up a few points, but the trend again is downward as these, it's a sort of fiscal hawks exert some influence on these negotiations.
All right, Andreas, we appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.
Thank you.